How has the current political climate been affecting your well-being, your emotional well-being? Sorry.
I feel like it's been kind of wishy-washy. Like it's tough being around work. I feel like a lot of my coworkers have been like tiptoeing around me with like certain things they talk about and certain things they don't talk about. Like I know I don't like I'm not a Trump supporter, but like some of my coworkers are and they feel like they can't talk about it around me. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say that he's a terrible person, but a lot of things he does I don't agree with. So I think that's just been real difficult working with at work anyway, because everyone has their opinions, especially patients as well. So that's been difficult.
Have you ever experienced discrimination based on your race? And if so, how has that affected your everyday life?
Fortunately, I've only experienced it probably like twice in my life. I've seen a lot of it. I've seen a lot of people experience it, but twice. Once for me was in like high school, and I went to like Greek school, so I was in suburbs, and then in college, and I was in like Alfred, so that's kind of like the country. So of course, there I felt like it affected my day to day life more so in college because I realized like, oh, I shouldn't do like I gotta watch how I move around certain situations with certain people because unfortunately for me, they're not gonna look at me like they're looking at some other people.
Would you include microaggressions with that?
Yeah, definitely microaggressions. Definitely microaggressions. I feel like I experience a lot, no,
Do you have any
especially at
examples?
work.
Do you have any examples, if you don't mind?
Any examples at work? Yeah, like a few times at work. It's mostly like comments about like my hair when I wear it naturally. Anyway, like they'll be like, "Oh, this one girl asked how did I get my hair a certain way, and then like if she could touch it, and they like to hair and sometimes like oh I hate that. It's a pet peeve. I don't mind like if you ask me, I'm okay with you touching my hair. That's fine, but don't just walk up and start touching my hair, and then like yeah, that's a pet peeve. Or one time where I was at work and I forgot the situation, but she was commenting about my hair and she was like, you know how you people wear your hair, and I was just like, yeah. But she didn't realize like she said it, and I know her, she's not like a racist person. I feel like the way she said it, it comes off as that way, and she didn't even realize she said it that way.
So how did you handle that? Like,
well, and that's just, we were friends, and I just looked at her, and she was like, "Oh my god, I didn't mean it that way." I was like, "Yeah, but you said it that way." So it's like I feel like I was more comfortable with her because I knew her. We were like friends. We've been working together for like 5 years. But like if anybody random on the streets would have said it, I just probably would have made a face at them like, "I can't believe you just said that." Yeah.
It's cool that you said something though, that you were like, hey, that's not okay, or that makes me feel uncomfortable, like it's sort of the same. I feel like is it a similar vibe as like the difference between someone saying like that's a black person versus those blacks, it's only one letter on that word, but it means a very different thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That unconscious bias is real.
It really is. And I do it sometimes too, so I can admit that, but I feel like everyone just has to be more conscious of what they say and think about it first. Yeah.
So that brings me to my next question. What challenges have you experienced as a woman of color in the medical field?
I feel like not being heard by doctors, definitely. And I wouldn't even say just as a woman of color, just as a woman, period, in the medical field. Doctors feel like they don't need to listen to you. They feel like they know everything. And then we have a lot of situations where we have like rotating residents. So it's like their first time being with transplant patients on our unit. So they really don't know anything about them. And when we're telling them a certain situation is like critical, it shouldn't be happening, they're brushing it off like, oh, it's fine, until things hit the fan. And they're like, oh my God, we should listen to you the first time. Definitely that. And also, when as a woman of color, I felt like when I gave birth to my daughter, when I was having like contractions in actual labor, I felt like I wasn't being heard at all. When I was telling them, like, I called, I was like, I'm in pain, like my contractions are ever so often, like I can't take it. And they were like, oh, well, if you're talking on the phone, I don't think you're having real contractions. And I was like, what? How can you tell how I can take pain? Like, And when we ended up going anyway, because my husband was like, but you're like hunched over in pain, so I'm going to take you anyway. And we went, and they were like, oh, well, good thing you came, because every time you have a contraction, your daughter's heart rate keeps dropping. So I was like, good thing we did actually come in instead of listening to what the person told me on the phone. And I was like, I wanted to have a natural birth, but I had to have a C-section because it was like her heart rate kept dropping too low. But I was like, I felt like I shouldn't have got sent home because I was there the night before at like 9 p.m. and I was back there by 6 a.m. So I feel like I shouldn't have went home. Yeah, I feel like they shouldn't have sent me home. But no one was like listening. They were like, oh, if you're talking through contractions, you can't be in real labor. Like contractions are really bad. I'm like, this really hurts, but I can tell you that it really hurts.
I guess it sort of relates to our next question though, like what initially got you interested in the field of nursing?
Well, when I was in high school, I had surgery on like my back, like from 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. I just had like a cyst. It was like a cyst that like got really big though, and it had to be surgically removed all 4 times. And it just kept coming back. Yeah, it just kept coming back like 3 times. And then the 4th time they finally like removed it, and I had like a wound vac on. And I will always, every year I missed school for like 2 or 3 months, so I had to get homeschooled. I would do all my Regents exams at home in my kitchen. And I had a tutor come out, and then we had home health care come out. So it was always nurses coming to change like my dress and everything. That's what got me interested in it originally. But then when I got into it, the nursing field, I didn't really like messing with wounds that much. So now I'm more like, I like transplant. I'm not the type of person that will be like in the wound, but I like looking at it from the outside.